Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we are reacting to a TikTok. I thought it could be helpful for you guys to hear a woman's perspective on this. So let's watch it together, reconvene, and I will tell you what I think. Okay, the text on the screen says SOS meeting guys when single. So let's watch.
We need to have a discussion on my single people because I need to know what you guys would have done in this circumstance. They always say like you'll meet the person that you want to start dating or the person that you're with doing things that you love, whether it's going to the coffee shop, the gym, just your everyday activities, whatever. So today I go into the coffee shop and the second I walk in, I see the most beautiful man, just like gorgeous features, brown hair, incredibly tall. I'm like, you are so my type to a T. Very business-esque energy to him too. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely my type. He was sitting across the cafe. I'm like, I should make some eye contact with him, let him know there's a vibe here. But didn't end up like looking at for my computer, whatever. So I'm like, I'll just have no earbuds in so I look approachable because I've been told I don't look approachable. So I'm trying to do everything I can to make myself look approachable to this man. He ends up walking over and sitting right next to me. And how it's set up in this coffee shop is there's like one long booth and then a table in front of yourself and then a chair on the other side of you. So he's sitting right next to me in this booth. And I'm like, perfect opportunity. So I'm patiently waiting for him to like spark up a conversation, but like what would he have said? And I was too nervous to be bold and be like, hey, you're really hot. My name's Lauren. Here's my number. But like, I could have done that, but like, that's a little too ballsy of me. And like, I wanted him to just show a little confidence and maybe like pursue a little bit because I think that's the most attractive thing in a guy. But I'm like, the fact that he got up and sat right next to me, he didn't even have to like charge his computer or anything because he didn't reach out to grab a charger because I'm like, oh wait, why did he move across and sit next to me? So that made me a little curious. So anyways, bummer. To make a long story short, we didn't end up having any conversation and he got up probably like, I don't know, 30 minutes later or something. But yeah, he totally distracted me from my work because I was like, I just want to kiss you on the lips. You are gorgeous, honey. But yeah, if you were sitting at Shortwave Coffee today next to me, you should have shot your shot because you were beautiful. But anyways, I want to know what you guys would have done in that circumstance.
Okay, so she's asking, I want to know what you guys would have done in that circumstance. So we're going to tell her. So first up here, I want to talk about the hints that women give men. You know, as a woman, it's always pretty obvious to me when a woman is into a guy and when she wants him to approach, but that is because I am a woman and I know how women work. But as a guy, I can absolutely see how this can be confusing. And also there's just a lot of bad advice on the internet about this. Let's be totally transparent. Just because a girl looks at you for 2 seconds doesn't mean that she's interested. And there's sometimes a very fine line between, is she interested in me or did she just accidentally look at me at the same time that I looked at her? So, you know, as a woman, I can confidently say, I think sometimes the way we expect men to read these hints and these minuscule cues, like it's tough out there. So I think we can acknowledge that. You know, in the video, she said she took her earbuds out to look more approachable, and not having earbuds in, unfortunately, I don't think is necessarily enough for a man to say, okay, let me go up to her. She doesn't have AirPods in. She clearly wants me to approach her. But A for effort, you know, nice try. I think that's a great starting point, but just taking out your earbuds, I don't know if that's enough to do it, especially if you didn't look up from your computer at him the entire time, like you didn't even look at him. So I would probably assume that you weren't interested. That's just from a woman's perspective. For the guys watching, I would love to hear down in the comments, what makes a woman look approachable versus not approachable?
I would probably say, just like you, the taking out the headphones was a good start, but you know, like you said, looking at your computer isn't really going to do it. If you wanted to shoot your shot, you could have made up a reason to go over there because it's in a coffee shop. It's a lower risk setting. You could have gone over there and said something like, hey, dropped something, and then went over there and picked it up. Like a lot of women used to say back in the day, I dropped my handkerchief and the man comes and picks it up. You could have done that. And then he would have, maybe like a gentleman, picked it up and brought it back over to you. So those are things that you can kind of do to get a man's attention. Like a lot of times we try to go away from the things that worked. And I'm one of those people who would be in trouble for this. Hey, there's new technology. Let's go after it. That sort of thing. But sometimes the old ways still do work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you could have dropped a handkerchief, quote unquote, or it could have been a pen, pencil, something to kind of get it. Since he was sitting over there by you, you could have dropped something, done something to get his attention, to attract him over there to you. And this is what I talk about a lot of the times on my channel now is women expect men to just approach, to do all of the thinking. They want to turn their brain off. That's why they say, you plan the date, everything. I just want to get in the car and we go eat and then get dropped off at home. That's the pinnacle of me being a passenger princess. That's the very top of me being in my soft girl era. And they don't think that they have to do anything to lure the man. They don't have to do anything to seduce the man. And I don't mean sexually. I mean, what are you doing to get that man's attention? You know how to do it on some of these sites, but you're attracting the wrong attention. How do you do it now for the man that you want? And too many women don't know how to do anything else but take their clothes off or show a little cleavage or show a little bit more of their figure to get a man to come over to them. There's a way that you can do that, but you can do it a little bit more tastefully that doesn't scream, I am for the streets.
Like, what would signal to you that a woman is interested? I really want a man's perspective on this, because I know from a woman's perspective, like, just the simple act of not having earbuds in, I don't think would be enough for me to think that someone is interested. If they kept looking at me, that would be a different story, but just the earbuds, I'm going to say no. Now, going back to the video in this specific situation, I think the fact that he moved right next to her.
And if you guys locked eyes, then you could smile and say, hey, how's it going? And then do whatever you're doing. And maybe that would spark up a conversation. Not saying that these things will result in an actual conversation, because he just might not be interested. But that's how you show that you're open. If you guys are locking eyes, you smile. How's it going? If he's across the room, if he's close to you, then you can say hi. And then, hey, how's it going? And then you can spark up. If he doesn't say anything, you can kind of turn around to him and, hey, what kind of coffee did you get? If he got coffee, it's like, hey, what kind of laptop is that? That's how you spark up a conversation with them without doing too much. And you guys can, if it goes somewhere, then it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
And she didn't look at him or smile or say anything to him, probably made him think, okay, she's definitely not interested. She didn't even look my way when I came over here, so I don't want to bother her while she works. Like, that would be my assumption. I think it would be very different if while he was on his way over to sit next to her, she looked up from her computer and smiled at him, or, glancing over and smiling once he sat down. Like, I think that would make the situation very different. If I got up and sat next to someone and they didn't even look up at their screen, I would think, okay, this person is very focused on what they're doing. I don't want to disturb them. But maybe that's just me. This is also a perfect time to talk about why men are not pursuing women as much anymore. I think there's been a substantial decrease in the amount of men who approach women, especially in settings aside from like a bar or club or something like that, because of the fact that many women have said they don't want to be approached, they don't like it, where it's a total no-no for them, how it makes them feel uncomfortable, how men are creepy. I could go on and on here. I would say most men don't want to contribute to this issue of making women feel uncomfortable, so they might be less likely to approach. Now, I also know there are a lot of guys too who just have a fear of rejection, which is a pretty normal feeling to have. Maybe a fear of an extreme negative reaction, which I'll be honest, I don't think is as common, but social media has certainly made it seem like it is. Or guys who are just more introverted or have social anxiety. So I know those things are definitely happening too. I'm not a man, so I can't speak from personal experience. And for that reason, I don't think it's fair for me to just sit here and say, get over it.
No, you're right on. There's all of those things could be it. Introverted, social anxiety, or fear of wanting, being put on social media. All of those things are pretty good. You're cooking right now.
But I will say, if you don't even try, you automatically fail. I know rejection is scary and it can be really intimidating to put yourself out there given the current dating climate, but give yourself a dang chance to succeed. That would be my advice. But going back to this situation in the video here, I have to be honest, I was never one to recommend women making the first move, mainly because I think it's attractive when the man is the bold one and takes the initiative. But I've kind of changed my mind about this, and I'm definitely more open to the idea of a woman approaching or being the one to open up the floor in person specifically. In terms of online dating, I think that's different, and I think men should still make the first move and take initiative, specifically on a dating app, because you know why everyone is on there, and the in-person worries of making someone uncomfortable isn't really a thing. I'm actually not a fan of Bumble at all for this reason, but back to the video. If men don't want to make women feel uncomfortable and they aren't picking up on these hints, or they overthink the hints and don't actually think they're hints, which is absolutely understandable sometimes, because sometimes these hints are really giving nothing at all. What the heck are we supposed to do? I think doing nothing in a scenario like this as a woman is way worse than just saying hi and at least letting a guy know that you're comfortable chatting with him or into him. You don't have to be so bold and say, I think you're cute, here's my number, although that probably would make things a heck of a lot easier. But at least saying something, anything, gives the guy a green light. If I were in her situation and I had the courage to say something, I think just saying hi or maybe asking what he ordered could have been totally fine. It's definitely not the craziest or most bold thing in the world, but it at least gets the convo started. From there, it would be pretty obvious then if he was interested in continuing the conversation. I think women are often much better at reading body language and noticing small details than men are. It's usually pretty easy for us to read the room, so I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think this might just make the situation more enjoyable and comfortable for everyone involved. I can totally see both sides, but I think if we want to meet people in real life, we have to get comfortable breaking some norms, because clearly what's going on right now isn't necessarily working. As I already touched on in this video, I think there are more reasons why men aren't saying anything or approaching than just them not being confident. I think they don't want to make us uncomfortable. They've seen us all talk online about how we don't like when men approach us, or what scenarios are okay versus what scenarios aren't, or that we just want to focus on our work and not necessarily worry about men approaching us all the time. So I think there's a lot that's going into this, and I think something that would definitely help is maybe not necessarily being so bold and saying, you're attractive or you're cute, can I have your number, as a woman, but just opening up the floor for conversation and letting a man know that I'm okay with being talked to and I'm okay with being approached. I think that would definitely help. And I don't necessarily.
You could go get a napkin. You could make a reason to get up. And because he's sitting so close to you, once again, there's an opportunity. That looks like a really good drink. What is that? Oh man, it's a chai latte. Oh man, I love those things. Yeah, I come here 2 or 3 times out there. I never see you. And then you just, can I sit down? And you just start having the conversation, right? And obviously it like she was saying, it's a dance on both of you guys' part. And like she was saying, I would encourage the man to approach online, obviously. I mean, because that's easy. I mean, obviously rejection, it sucks, but hey man, I'm not gonna get rejected to my face. But in real life, if you see something and you're scoping it out and you feel like you really want that, figure out a way to go over there and speak to her, right? And once again, I'm not trying to tell you to force yourself on her or force the situation, but in the same way, I would encourage women to do the same thing. How are you going to get him to understand? Yes, it's you. Hey, because sometimes for those who are like really deep into church or in a classroom setting, when the professor calls you out and he says, you over there, and you're kind of looking like, hey, who are you talking to? Because you really don't know. I'm in the vicinity, but there's like 15, literally 20 other people in the same vicinity. You in the orange shirt. Oh, that's me. I have an orange shirt on. So you kind of start to narrow down who you're actually trying to get a hold of. And that's what men need, especially in this day and in time. Whereas people around that time, when it wasn't so frowned upon, they might say, hey, you over there, and come approach. Oh, no, I wasn't talking to you, or something. And it would be more respectful, like, get out of my face. Right. And so you saying, get out of my face in front of all those other dudes, they back, whoa, I didn't know it was like that. But if you get specific about who you're talking to and you're looking at, and this is going to take some thought, then I think your chances of getting his attention are going to go up. So while you're wanting the man to think critically, you've got to do the same thing.
Necessarily know if this mindset of sort of letting life pass you by and never putting yourself out there, never saying anything as a woman, simply because you want the man to be masculine or be confident or, be sexy and take charge and initiate. I don't know if that's necessarily always the most helpful thing. I can see both sides, and as a woman, I think we should really try to have more of an open mind about this. I will also say I'm starting to understand a lot more why in the old days, a woman would drop her handkerchief to signal to a man that she was interested in him. If she was, say, on a walk or something, and he would pick it up and bring it over, and they would start talking, and that was her green light of showing, I'm into you, come talk to me. Bring me my handkerchief. While that is incredibly unhygienic, and I would never want to use that handkerchief again after it's sitting on the ground somewhere, maybe there's a modern version of this. Maybe we just open up the floor for conversation by saying hello. Or maybe one of you have a brilliant idea that you can let me know down in the comments. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think, and I like her idea, her perspective, her thought on it. Hey, I'm not really sure what to do, but I'm thinking about it. How do we engage with men when we're wanting men to engage with us? It's like men get to the point to where they're the only ones on the dance floor. Women are saying, modern women, some of them are saying, just get out on the dance floor and, even if somebody doesn't dance with you, then just be confident. After a while, somebody's going to be like, well, nobody's ever dancing with me and I don't want to dance alone, so I'm not going out there. Like, I want to find a dance partner. But if I come up to you and I say, hey, will you dance? Can I have this dance? Instead of you doing the nice thing in a safe setting, and I'll dance with you. Hey, I appreciate that. And you trying to get to know, he don't really know how to dance, but we're working on it. Hey, put your feet like this or do this, put your hand right here. Instead of helping each other and instructing each other in different ways on how to do something, these modern women just stand on the sideline and they just laugh at the men who walk on the dance floor and invite you out. Oh, you don't know how to dance. I saw you walking in. I already know you don't know how to dance. I saw the way you look. I already saw your shoes. I already know you ain't with it. And they stay back there. And then they wonder why men just walk out and they go do their thing. Hey, bro, man, come fool around with me, man. Come on this dance floor. Hey, let's get down for a couple of minutes, man. Let's oh, man, I don't want to look stupid. Don't worry about it, man. We just chilling. Come on, man. Let's do something. Oh, man, do you guys like each other? Why don't you guys date each other? No, we don't. We just decided, hey, if y'all not going to come on, we'll hang out with our bros. We'll chill. Hey, man, you want to come over? Man, let's watch a game, bro. Hey, you bring some wings, man. I got the drinks. Let's just do something, man. Hey, let's get out the house. And y'all get mad at that. I don't see no men where I be vacationing at because we don't be going there. We don't be there. And that's for a reason. And you got to respect that reason because you said that you didn't want a man in your space. It's confusing. But once again, I like the video from her. Go follow her. Courtney Ryan is her name. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.